I think what I'm seeing in this country is quite shocking. You know, I really don't trust the executive that much, because this is a team that is known for making a lot of promises during a period preceding an election. I remember before the last election, we were told there would be a bottom-up arrangement where everybody at the lower bracket would be raised. Manamambogas would have supermarkets, border-borders would have vehicles. And 3 years down the road, that has been, you know, a pipe dream. Unfortunately, you know, the lies, I think, in my opinion, continue. On this matter of what is going on in State House, I think basically what we are being shown is an old script where politicians want to make sure that they turn everybody into a kind of a pauper, then suddenly start handing out, you know, giving out handouts. And I'll say this. You can see the deliberate attempt from this regime to make everybody poorer. and clearly, how do you do that? When they came into power, and I remember just before the last election, the president and a team of almost 30, 40 members of parliament stood in and did a press conference and talked about the cost of fuel. It was a very specific press conference. And he was there saying, you know, the cost of fuel in this country is higher than Uganda, and yet Uganda's fuel goes through Kenya, and therefore there is a problem with the tax regime of fuel. But what does he do when he becomes president? He raises the VAT from 8% to 16%. He raises road maintenance levy fund on fuel from 17 shillings to 25 shillings per litre. Basically, you know, totally going against what he had said before. He has also gone into introduce the minimum tax so that people pay more. He's also increased pay as you earn. He's changed the funding model of universities such that you know, and the cost of education before, university education, was fairly affordable, because I remember we could through CDF support quite a number. Suddenly the fees were raised, and some arrangement of a funding model came about. Generally, what I'm saying is that Kenyans are poorer as a result of this regime. So what do? You make people poorer, then you start dishing them out handouts. Yeah. And what does he do? He starts a program of empowerment. So he comes to the villages, and he gives, you know, border people are given money when they share out. They get like 200, 300, 400, 500 shillings. Women groups are also given money. Teachers now are called to State House. They're given 10,000 shillings each. You know, at the end of the day, what he's doing is actually giving people handouts so that he can buy the next election. Unfortunately, people are sharper than that.
They were given 10,000 shillings each.
Teachers were given 10,000 shillings each. That was, I think, bus fare reimbursement. Unfortunately, by the time they were done with that, I think it was late in the night. Some of them really struggled to get back to their homes. This is a script that happens even in empowerment. My own constituents, when they came there, the money was being dished out, and I think some chaos erupted, and there was a fight. You know, tear gas thrown all over the villages in my constituency, up to almost 10, 11 p.m. So the problem is, you make people poorer so that they can be dependent on you, so that you can be dishing out handouts. Unfortunately, what is happening is this. People are wiser than what the regime thinks. When you call us and give us handouts, and yet capitation for our children, apparently 2 children in school, whose capitation has dropped by 6,000 per year for each child, that's about 12,000 that you lose. Yep. And then you're given a handout of 500 shillings. Honestly, that's, you know, it doesn't help. And so I want to ask that let the president go back to doing his work. And we are being told here by Mbui Milema that they were signing a CBA. What kind of CBA is witnessed by 10,000 people? What kind of conversation or meeting or discussion can you have with 10,000 people? That's a baraza. That's a public baraza. There's absolutely no discussion you can have with 10,000 people. Right. 10,000 people will just sit there and listen to you, because there is no way you can have a conversation. You want to have a meeting, you meet with the leaders of the unions. Mbui Milema and his team are able to, you know, to midwife this process. But then calling all these teachers to the meeting, you can say that the teachers were called so that now we can make it happen. They will not make it happen because of the numbers. This is optics so that you can show Kenyans that teachers are on your side. But I can tell you, teachers are not going to be fooled that way.
Okay.